Okay, is everybody awake? That's more for me than for you. I come from far away. Now we can talk about human digital enhancement, growing up empowered, and I can, I choose, and I accomplish. I'm Marc Prensky, and I'm thrilled to be back again in beautiful Croatia. And I want to introduce my son, Sky. Today is Sky's 18th birthday. And he gets to celebrate it in Rovinj, Croatia. Sky is about to graduate from high school, and he's going to take what we call a gap year to learn about the world before he goes on to what he decides to do in terms of college or anything else. And we're going to hear from Sky as this presentation goes on, because I guarantee he's a lot closer to the education than I am. We're going to talk about reframing, help you think about things in new ways that you haven't perhaps considered before. And I hope you'll leave with some new ideas and new thinking, and that we will get into incredible dialogues about the future and about our young people, because it's young people that I care most about. I'm going to start out with how the world has changed and what our new age is like. I'm going to talk about our new job as educators, and I'm going to talk about how we can do our new job. But before I start, I'd like to know who you are. How many of you are teachers? How many of you are administrators of schools? How many of you are policymakers? You are very important people. How many of you are parents? And last question, how many of you are under the age of 20? I see one hand in the back. Congratulations, 2 hands for being here. This is typical. I go around the world and speak about education, which is of course all about young people, and there are never any young people in the room. So I recommend that next year, when you have this conference, you invite young people, not just 1 or 2 to speak on stage, but make every adult who comes bring a young person with them so they can hear each other's perspective. I've done that once or twice. It was fabulous. I'm going to talk about our new age. And it's very important because we are at a big turning point in human history. There are 2 huge things happening at once. One is climate change, which we all know about, and we hope that that will resolve itself in a positive way. And the second, which gives us hope that it will, is that human capabilities are changing. And the fact that those 2 are happening at the same time makes this a very special moment. And I like to think about it as moving from an age of education, where that was really important, to an age of empowerment. And it's time to empower all our young people. And what does empowerment mean? It means, for me at least, 3 things. I can, I choose, and I accomplish. And you need all of those 3 to be empowered. Because to successfully move to the future, we're going to have to make sure that we change our attitudes about young people. Because a lot of people who grew up in the past think that the young people are just little us's. They're like what we were their age, and we treat them like that. But that's not true. They have changed. And let's look at the difference in beliefs between older people from the previous generation and sometimes younger people. If you were brought up in the 20th century, which most of us in this room, in fact, were, maybe all of us, you believe kids can't really accomplish much. We couldn't accomplish all that much when we were young. You might believe learning comes first. before you can do everything else. That's why we have so many years of school. You might believe that technology is just a tool. We can use it, not use it. Or that being in person, face-to-face, is always better. The two are now different, equal. Watching this around the world, we used to believe that the individual came first, that it was do your own work, don't plagiarize, don't look, don't copy. We used to believe that kids needed knowledge from adults, that it was our job to put knowledge into their heads. And we used to believe, and many of us still believe, that education, and when I say education, I mean the way we do it today around the world, is really important that it continue. What's the other side? What are the other beliefs? The belief is that young people can. And why? Because they are becoming empowered. So they can do things that young people could never, ever do before. That accomplishing comes first. You don't have to learn everything in advance. You can accomplish first and learn as you do that. That technology is not just a tool, but it's a symbiotic part of being human. That the earth and cloud are just different, but they're equal. And I just attended a conference from my chair in my living room, and it was one of the best conferences I'd ever been to. Teams and collaboration come first, before the individual. And what kids need from adults is coaching and empowerment. And that education doesn't work. The old education doesn't work. Why? Because there is no accomplishment as part of that. So one set of beliefs is disempowering for young people. The other set of beliefs is more empowering. And when I was at that conference, sitting in my armchair, one of the speakers at that conference was Bill Gates. And one of the things they asked him was, well, what was it like? You were there at the very beginning of computers coming into schools, and you started using them when you were very young. And how did that go? And here's what Bill Gates said, and it stuck with me, so I decided to share it with you. He said, the teachers found it confusing. We did not find it confusing, and we took over. The rest is history. The rest is Microsoft. The rest is the world we live in. So we have to not be confused, but we have to work together to understand this. And some of this may be unsettling to a lot of people in the world, but we can do this. I assure you we can do this. I know we can do this because we've done it as human beings many times before.